No DQ Galaxy, we are live. Happy Friday the 13th in October. Happy to have everyone tuning in tonight. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it very much. This was the season premiere of Smackdown, as we tend to see every October. Let's get right into this recap. A busy show coming off of the Fastlane Premium Live event, and now business is truly picking up. We have Crown Jewel in early November, and then later in November, we have Survivor Series. The build for both of those shows starting on this edition of SmackDown. We kicked off SmackDown with the so-called, although I think there's a fair argument for him, greatest of all time, John Cena. He started talking and he was immediately interrupted by the Universal Champion, Unified WWE Universal Champion, whatever you want to call him, Roman Reigns, with the Bloodline, Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. He got in the ring. Crowd was chanting for John Cena. They were very much into Cena. Reigns called Cena a coward who only showed up because Roman Reigns left. Reigns said that he is the greatest of all time and told Cena to leave the ring. Cena had a response and said that he had a curveball for Roman Reigns. Cena said he was not there to challenge Reigns because he did lose to Reigns. He's there to acknowledge Reigns. He hasn't earned the opportunity to challenge Reigns, but he knows somebody that did. And that led to LA Knight coming down to the ring. John Cena handed him the mic. LA Knight said that things have changed since Roman Reigns left and took his hiatus. Reigns wanted to know who the hell LA Knight thinks he was to interrupt him. And Knight said he's the fastest rising star on SmackDown. Then all of a sudden, Jimmy Uso attacked LA Knight, but LA Knight fought him off, threw him out of the ring. Reigns, Solo, and Heyman retreated. Reigns told Solo to take care of LA Knight, so Solo issued a challenge to LA Knight for the main event of the show. I'm already seeing comments here. It definitely looks like Roman Reigns versus LA Knight for the World Championship at Crown Jewel. And I'm thinking we are probably not getting a title change at that event. But more on that in a little while. Stay tuned. Shout out to Walter Cruz, Mr. Reliable. He sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, I'm off to see X. Have a good stream, Aaron. I hope you're not talking about Jason X, because that was, in my opinion, the worst of the bunch. And these aren't exactly movies that are known for their quality writing or acting. But for me, that was just ridiculous, that movie. Anyways, let's get back to SmackDown. We had the return in the ring of Pretty Deadly. Elton Prince has recovered from his shoulder injury. He got out of the wheelchair. It was a miracle, as Bobby Heenan might say. They were up against the Brawling Brutes. Basic tag team match here. Brutes had a strong start. They did the dueling 10 beats, but then Pretty Deadly took control during the commercial break. And then Ridge Holland got the hot tag. Ridge came in, did his power moves. But then Butch was back body dropped onto the apron by Wilson, and then Prince started acting like he was hurt. The referee was checking on Prince, and then Wilson came in with a cheap shot to Holland, and Prince rolled up Ridge to get the 1-2-3 victory. I like this gimmick. I think they did a good job here. I like Pretty Deadly if they continue to do this, and the baby faces are just sick of it, but they keep trying to fool everybody, and you can get the crowd chanting BS. Of course, you have the censors and whatnot, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Pretty Deadly could do. They are starting to grow on me. I'm still not a fan of their ring attire, but hey, it's different, right? So you got to make yourself stand out from the rest of the pack. And I will admit, they are growing on me. Good win here for these guys, and clearly WWE has high hopes for them. And it's also nice because they're an actual tag team, and there's almost no legitimate tag teams now. Like two guys that wear similar attire and act similar. You just don't see that too much these days. The tag teams, Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, are very different. At least Judgment Day, they wear similar attire, but we don't really see too many teams like that in this day and age. And I'd like to see more of that, quite frankly. Backstage, we had Carlito, who was officially back as part of the Smackdown brand. He said it's cool to be back. Bobby Lashley quickly interrupted his backstage promo, and Lashley brought up how he used to beat up Carlito back in the day, like 2006, 2007. But Lashley welcomed him back to SmackDown, and Carlito said that's the past and challenged Lashley to a match. But then all of a sudden, the Street Profits, they jumped Carlito. Officials came in, Adam Pearce, they all had to break it up. And then Bayley came in. She was upset about all this because it was taking away from her time. And things got heated between Bayley and Zelina Vega. And that led to a match between them. Bayley and Zelina, very basic match here. This is essentially a match that was to give Bayley a win after being the eater of pinfalls for the past several weeks. I mean, you had the outside interference. It was a very standard match with Damage Control interfering. Zelina hit the 619, and then Dakota Kai tried to attack Zelina. Zelina did hit a top rope Meteora. Bayley kicked out of it, and then Io got on the apron. Zelina knocked off Io, and Bayley took advantage, won with the Rose Plant. So stupid babyface Zelina Vega, but it was a fairly standard tag match. And like I said in April, Zelina got her one match, and that was it. And she does get some TV time with the LWO. She's in the spot she's in. Bayley needed a win. It was what it was. And Charlotte did come down because the attack continued after the match. Charlotte ran down there and made the save for Zelina. And we'll probably get a tag match at some point, although there's a singles match that was set up for next week. More on that shortly. So backstage, Roman Reigns expressed his frustrations to Jimmy Uso. Reigns is unhappy that Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are the tag team champions. And he said it's disrespectful to the bloodline. And he told Jimmy Uso to handle it. We then had Triple H in the ring with Adam Pearce. Triple H started hyping up Crown Jewel and Survivor Series. And then he praised Adam Pearce. He called Pearce the unsung hero of WWE, who does an incredible job that's thankless. He said that Pearce has been overseeing both shows, but no person should have to do it alone. And he said that he said that Adam Pearce is going to be promoted. So he is now going to officially be the Raw general manager. But before Triple H could introduce the SmackDown general manager, we had Dominic Mysterio interrupting, Dominic getting heavily booed, and Triple H even joked about the boos. He thought the boos were piped in. That's what he heard. That was the hot rumor. But he said that they are, in fact, booing the hell out of Dominic Mysterio. And there was even a kid at ringside. His mom needed to cover his ears. And Dominic was venting about Judgment Day losing the tag team titles. And Triple H said that, well, Dominic needs to take his frustrations elsewhere. In fact, he needs to take them to the person who is the new SmackDown general manager. And that's when he introduced former NWA World's Champion, former Impact Wrestling World Champion, Nick Aldis, who has been working as a producer in WWE for the past couple of months. Not sure why he's not wrestling, but he's in there, and he did a great job here for his first night in, considering that he's a new face. A lot of fans watching WWE programming probably don't know who he is, but he did very well. And he had a great first line. He shook Dominic's hand and said he was a big fan of Dominic's father. And that was a nice start for Nick. And he said he's looking forward to some healthy competition with Adam Pearce. And then he introduced the newest member of SmackDown. So they finally revealed who was traded over to SmackDown because Cody Rhodes, or not Cody Rhodes, who went to Raw now? It's been so long now, I'm blanking. Oh, Jey Uso, duh. Jey Uso moved to Raw, and it was revealed that Kevin Owens is now part of SmackDown, which is a very interesting decision because you're effectively breaking up the tag team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Interesting. I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. Owens came out there, gave Dominic a stunner, and Nick Aldis raised his hand. So there you go. Kevin Owens officially part of SmackDown. I like how they're doing the general managers again. I think this is something they should have always been doing. Like, for the longest time, why was there not a general manager of Raw and general manager of SmackDown? I mean, they pretty much gave up on it when I think Daniel Bryan started wrestling again. It's been that long. Definitely think it was needed. And I'm curious to see what happens with Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. I wonder if they'll actually wrestle at some point. Nick Aldis, the guy's just a natural as far as his promos go, and, great wrestler. Maybe we'll see him in the ring at some point. Maybe not. But either way, glad he's got a role on camera. Definitely a good choice for the role. And backstage, we had a segment with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, the women's tag team champions. And they were pitching this idea to Aldis of having new women's tag team titles. What about new men's tag team titles? We've had those same penny titles, the duplicates, since they're unified, and we've never gotten new championships. So how about the men's titles first while we're talking about new titles? Anyways, Nick Aldis had other things to deal with because Charlotte had some matters to attend to, and Aldis said because Charlotte got screwed at Fastlane, Charlotte will get a match for the women's championship against Io Sky on next week's edition of SmackDown. And then as Charlotte was leaving, she bumped into Jade Cargill, who was with Triple H. We had this little stare down between Jade and Charlotte. I like it. Generate some buzz and hype for Jade Cargill. Get fans talking about it. I liked it. Charlotte gets her match, and, well, would not shock me if she wins the title next week. I would not be surprised at all in a one-on-one situation. Of course, you could always have some interference and shenanigans, and there's a DQ or something, and they can hold off until Crown Jewel. But I would expect Charlotte to have that title by the time we get into WrestleMania season. So it's just a matter of when at this point. But you have to think Charlotte's going to be in the title match at WrestleMania. Don't know if it'll be against Jade Cargill or Bianca Belair or whoever, but I expect Charlotte to have that title soon. Io's just keeping it warm right now, unfortunately. We had Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes defending their tag team championships against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Another basic tag team match. I mean, bad guys got the upper hand for a while. And then you had the hot tag, Cody coming in, disaster kick to Theory, disaster kick to Waller, but then Theory was able to get the upper hand. Jay came back in, and Jay super kicked Theory, and like all this spit flew out of Theory's mouth. It was pretty cool looking. And then Cody Rhodes and Jay hit the Cody 1D to Theory, and then Cody finished off Theory with the Crossroads. I'm a little surprised it was such a clean, decisive win over Theory and Waller, who they've been building up, but there you go. The champs retain in their first title defense. And then afterwards, we had a very interesting moment here. So Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso came down and had a face-off with Cody and Jay right by the entranceway. But then Roman Reigns came out and had a stare down with Cody Rhodes. This got a lot of people talking. Now, I interpreted this as a WrestleMania tease. Like this is what people were thinking. Finish the story. And this was done for a reason. This was definitely not accidental. Like they are planting the seed for the Cody and Roman Reigns rematch. And I think it's WrestleMania because it looks like it's going to be Roman Reigns versus LA Knight. The only negative of this is now, I mean, LA Knight's not winning that title. Even if it's Cody versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, we know LA Knight's not getting through Roman Reigns now because they've already teased Roman versus Cody. Cody's going to finish the story. They teased it now. And I to be fair, I was never expecting LA Knight to win the title. But now it's even more of a sure thing that LA Knight's just going to get his opportunity. He's going to get his spotlight in the main event at Crown Jewel, but he ain't winning that title. And I'm going on it right now. I'm going to make the call. Roman Reigns will defeat LA Knight at Crown Jewel. But let's get to the main event here. Building Nexus sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It says, will the tag titles be Jimmy's last shot before he gets kicked out? I don't know if he's going to be kicked out, but I could see the title change or potentially Jimmy screwing Jay out of the tag team titles, and that will start to set up Jimmy versus Jay at WrestleMania. Remember, that's the likely destination here. Jimmy versus Jay, the singles match at WrestleMania. So they're just killing time now until they get to that. And I think the tag team titles is helping to move the story along and keep it interesting until we get into WrestleMania season. But thank you for the super chat. I still don't know if we're ever going to get Jimmy versus Roman or Solo versus Roman. They could have done like a 4-way, but it doesn't appear like that's the direction now. So I would think that Jimmy's going to stay with the bloodline for now. We had our main event, LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa. Another basic match. The angles were very good on this show. The wrestling was standard, like nothing out of the ordinary. Basic matches here. Pretty much exactly what you would expect. LA Knight gets the hot start. Solo takes control, does his signature moves, the Samoan drop and so forth. The running hip attack in the corner. And then Solo ended up being sent into the ring post. LA Knight started to build up some momentum. Yeah, punches, big elbow. But Solo was able to avoid the BFT, the blunt force trauma, BLT, as some people put it. And they clotheslined each other. And then Jimmy got in the ring. But then John Cena ran in, gave the AA to Jimmy. Solo gave John Cena the Samoan spike. But then LA Knight hit the BFT and got the 1-2-3 victory over Solo Sikoa to build up Crown Jewel. And speaking of building up Crown Jewel, Roman Reigns, after the match, immediately speared LA Knight, left him laying, held the title up and above his head as SmackDown went off the air. I know people love LA Knight and they're high on him, but I don't see him winning that title at Crown Jewel. I would say it's highly unlikely in all likelihood. I noticed that too about Jey Uso with the punches, doing the Rock's punches. Definitely picked up on that. Don't know if it necessarily means anything for WrestleMania. I think that we're going to see Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't think The Rock is doing it. I think pretty soon this actor's strike is going to be over and Rock's going to get back to business. He did the SmackDown appearance. They got him for one show, but I think that's it. I don't think it's happening. I'll believe it when I see it. I think it's Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. And this show convinced me of that. That stare down, that was done intentionally. That was done to plant the seeds for the future. So very good SmackDown overall. The angles were really strong. Wrestling was okay, but I'll give it a B+. Very entertaining show, hot crowd, and I'm looking forward to the new developments. We got Nick Aldis in the mix now. They set up next week. They started building Crown Jewel. They even mentioned Survivor Series. It was a busy, noteworthy show. So definitely check it out if you missed it. And thank you all again for tuning in tonight. Now, as far as best show of the week, maybe SmackDown. I mean, I would say Dynamite and NXT were above SmackDown, but they were all close. Like all the shows, even Raw was pretty good. So, WWE, AEW, the programming has been very good as of late. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, will they explain why Jimmy is back with the bloodline? They might, but Jimmy, I think, just has no place else to go. Bloodline is family at the end of the day. And Jay made the clean break, but Jimmy's lost in the shuffle without the bloodline. I guess that's how you explain it. But I don't know where it's going with Jimmy, other than he's going to be a heel, and at some point he's going to face Jay one-on-one. And I expect it to be at WrestleMania. So don't know what they're going to do as far as the Roman Reigns Jimmy aspect of it, other than Jimmy needs his family. Don't know what else to say. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. I very much appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Happy Friday the 13th. And enjoy your weekend. We're getting close to Halloween. Looking forward to that. Take care, everybody. Buy a new Say Yeah to No DQ shirt over at nodq.com/merch. Take care, everybody. And I'll see you all next time.